Yeah, so Sydney's started working at a warehouse where there's cash shipments going in and out, and he's kind of got into his head that it might be quite easy for him to just let these guys in and to kind of rob the place, basically. But it's sort of not quite in their comfort zone. It's a bit of a new thing for them to even be attempting something like that. And then when it obviously becomes, a gold heist beyond their sort of what they were expecting, it becomes even more intense for them and even more kind of out of their comfort zone, and they just get deeper and deeper into this criminal world that they're not ready for. And that's sort of where the fun starts. Really, is just them struggling in this criminal world. There's also these kind of the real criminals, the kind of scary guys that we had involved, and who are kind of drama actors, really. Like they're a lot more scary, and kind of us against them is so funny to watch, just because we're so pathetic and can't hold our own in those situations. To people like Peter Fernando, like he's a scary man when he wants to be, and Jeff Bell, who plays the detective, there's kind of putting us up against people like that. It's just like, it's really fun.
Did you want, the director to kind of say to these actors, don't hold back?
Yeah, within limits. I remember Jeff telling me a story about how he urinated on an actor during a scene that was unscripted, and so in my head, when we had this, like, there's an interrogation scene with me and him where he has to kind of really like go at me, and I kind of said, like, yeah, do whatever you want. But when I heard that story, I was like, just anything that's funny, do it, but not that's violating. Everyone was making jokes about it, and on the day there was one take where he actually like turned around and undid his flies, and I was like, nah, I had to stop it. Like, he was joking, obviously, but yeah, it was funny, man. That I don't value my craft enough to be urinated on, actually.
I imagine you and 99% of other people out there would agree. What I found interesting, I read that actually you decided to film this in Liverpool rather than London. Does that say, or certainly some of it, does that say something about the fact that it's hard to find parts of London that look like what they did in the 80s anymore? It's been gentrified so much that actually London is no longer what it was back then.
Yeah, I think it's that, and it's hard to sort of get kind of permissions in London and stuff like that. It's all kind of technical, but yeah, Liverpool's great for that, because there's so many like areas where it's kind of the old brickwork, and the stuff that basically looks like 80s London. It was really like, so many of the locations, you just get there and you're like, wow, this looks like we've really built something like amazing. Like the docks as well, because obviously they've got docks there and stuff, so it kind of all worked to create this kind of, yeah, this 80s London scene.
You're obviously with kind of the old gang from Just Do Nothing, and we're not going to make comparisons to that. But with this, is there the possibility to perhaps develop characters more?
Yeah, I think, naturally, even when we were doing People Just Do Nothing, there was always a sort of a desire to like develop the characters and to take them on a journey, and for them to kind of um, learn along the way and become different people as they grew. You saw, like, in People Just Nothing, we had Beats like having a child and how that changed him and stuff like that. So yeah, with anything, I think there's a kind of desire to like develop the characters, and the more you do, the more you learn about the characters along the way. And we've always had ideas for series two. We've sort of, in our minds, we've got a rough map for probably a third series as well, really, if I'm honest.
Is there a fear, like a boy band, you have become kind of this acting writing band, and all good boy bands break up eventually? Are you worried that, if you stay together for too long, it could become so big that you end up having to go your solo ways?
Well, do you know what? I think we've all done stuff outside of the group as well, and if anything, it just cements the fact that when we're together, we have the most fun and we do the best work because we have such a good kind of honest way of communicating, and it's harder to sort of when you're working with people you don't really know that well. It can be hard to say you don't find that thing funny or could this be better or whereas with us it's like we're so tight that we can kind of do that and I think that's why it evolves and becomes kind of a bit more polished in that sense. So yeah, I think at the moment we're all very much in love and I'm not really too worried.
There's no Westlife moments coming, which is good to know. Just what can we expect? I know you're not going to give anything away because you want people to watch on Sunday. But the second episode is coming, and I can only imagine things are going to go, deeper and darker for this group.
It's where the police get involved basically, and you start to see the kind of the aftermath of the robbery, and there's a bit of politics between us and Clive and Joey, who are the sort of mad Clive, who's kind of the scary one, and it's about how we're going to try and get away with it now.